So you were a professional investor in asset management, right? And you, so how is that like? Basically, we always like to learn basically what was in your mind when you decided, okay, this is the career path I'm going to take once I graduate, and why? Like, what was going in your mind?
Yeah, so this has both to do like professionally, but also personally for me. I started financial market investment banking first, and then doing M&As in New York, and then I moved back to Brazil and I joined Velt. Back then it was called M Square as an analyst for investing in Brazilian equities. But as a fundamental investment, like value investing, Warren Buffett style, you have to research a lot. You do a lot of research before you actually buy a position in the company. You look at the stock as you're buying a stake on a business that you want to be a part of. So it is, basically fundamentally speaking, understanding the business and knowing the people that are running the business if you want to be part of that story. So you have to study everything that is happening with the business. And at the time, I was very lucky because TOTUS was buying DataSul in Brazil, so the largest competitor in ERP. And the discussion it was 2008, Pedro. So the discussion back then was how license-based models from ERP will survive the new SaaS model. So it was the beginning of SaaS, and Salesforce was the case study back then. So you had to study what was happening in the US with this, the SaaS ecosystem, how companies were pricing. You were going to lose the license-based model and also the maintenance plus implementation, but you had a subscription. Would you be able to break even back then? So in order to understand what could happen to TOTUS, I had to study what was happening to Salesforce in 2008. And then by looking into what was happening to Salesforce, the same like reports were also discussing Facebook, Uber, Groupon. And then I was like, whoa, I got like a bitten by this, this bug that was always in my mind. I continue at M Square Velt, looking into payment companies, Redcard, Cielo. So, I stayed there for 6 years, but back of my mind, I was always thinking, well, what is happening in this new market, this new ecosystem? A lot of what I've understood about competitive advantages, how to, create this barrier of entrance, they were being questioned. New models were arising in the US. So I was like really, really curious to know more about it. And then when I looked in what I was doing, technically speaking, there were not many technology companies in Brazil, listed companies. So that was 2012, 2013 when I started questioning myself what I was doing. So there were like five companies that could be considered technology, but they were
There's
not actually tech.
Yeah, it's still a problem today. I mean, some of our friends have already gone public, and now they're like the first ones out there, but it's still like it's quite scarce.
Exactly. But there are more opportunities. Like there are like Stone. There's more like technology based, and it's a new model in terms of like execution. Xp, you could say, some combinations more tech now than it used to be, but it's also more, more digital approach. But back then it was TOTUS, Bematec, Lynx, Redcard, and Cielo. So I was a little bit frustrated that I wanted to have more exposure to this segment, and also personally I was going through this phase of like trying to understand my purpose here, and trying to understand what I had just achieved. So 2000, my big goal was I want to become a partner in a fund, and I want to make a lot of money. So that was my first like motivation, and I like to learn a lot. I always I like to succeed in things, but my first motivation was I want to become a partner and I want to make a lot of money. So that happened quickly for me, gladly. And then it was like, okay, quickly, like 20, 26 years. And I was like asking myself, what's next? What's the next challenge? What do I want to do? What am I doing here? Am I building something, or just making money? And then that combination, looking at those stories, and of course, I only knew the surface. So I was like, I was reading the stories, and the surface, the tip of the iceberg. I was like, okay, I want to go to tech. I don't know how, but I want to do something in technology. So I decided to quit and then start looking for something. I don't like to divide my heart in different things. So I decided to
Wow.
to do this
So you
movement.
cold,
So
you
I
took
left
cold
the
turkey,
fund.
quit, and you were like, I'm just gonna figure out my life.
I'm going to tech. So I was like, I quit, saying I'm going to tech, but I don't know what. And they're like, how? Maybe a venture capital, maybe an MBA. That's where the MBA come in. Maybe an MBA, maybe that. And then, eventually I've been able to figure, it only took like 3 months for the opportunity to arise and then start building eGenius back then. So when you there's luck involved, of course, but when you're looking for something, when you're there working every day and studying, then it makes it easy for you to
Oh
take
yeah.
advantage
Oh
of the
no, it's funny.
opportunity.
So as you know, I just moved to Miami, so I still don't have a bunch of stuff on my walls. It's the last thing you kind of do, but I have this poster like back here that says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So just like it's still on the floor, but it'll be up there.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly it. That's it.